SmackDown Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of SmackDown, Raw, and or PLEs. And if they bring back Tuesday Night Titans, we'll do hot takes for that as well. All right, so let's get talking about a certain Matt Cardona / Zack Ryder. Kid Wilkes says, I understand why we saw Zack Ryder, but it would have been cool to see Matt Cardona. I'm going to assume not all of you have been watching wrestling since WrestleMania 5. If you don't know who that dude was, that LA Knight, fought yesterday, that's Matt Cardona, the king of the indies, but he's also known in WWE as Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder was a dude, he was probably 80% jobber, 20% like a threat. He would win sometimes. He won this US title. Fun fact, him and Chelsea Green are the only husband-wife, yes, they're married, husband-wife duo to have won the US title. And if you want to win the US title, all you got to do is comment below. I'm running a contest at 20,000 subscribers. I'm going to give this belt away on my quest to quit my day job. How do you win? Comment below. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell. Ding, ding, ding. Notification. This is not a toy. It's a replica. It hurts too sometimes because it's really pointy. All right, so yes, Zack Ryder has won championships in the past, but predominantly he's more of a jobber, enhancement talent, a really popular enhancement talent. He was one of the first dudes to actually use the internet to get himself over. He was one of the first dudes to okay, so you know how LA Knight were like, dude, this guy is over. He's organically over. Karrion Kross, he's organically over. Usually, Zack Ryder and Daniel Bryan are the two that people reference. Like, look what they did with Zack Ryder. He got himself over and they did nothing with him. Zack Ryder got himself over with the internet. He created his own, the Long Island Iced Tea show or something on YouTube, and fans started gravitating towards it. He was one of the first WWE stars to have a YouTube channel and show. He did it all on his own until eventually the corporation took it over and ruined the show. But regardless, he got himself over. They gave him a U.S. championship run for just a little bit, and then it just went downhill. They completely buried him afterwards, and he lost all momentum. About 5 years ago, he was released from WWE, and he reinvented himself on the indie scene, where he became, you know how Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, and AEW has like all the belts? Well, Matt Cardona had all the belts too, because he just was everywhere and winning. He reinvented himself. He showed that you could actually be a professional wrestler, make a lot of money, and not be in a big promotion like WWE or even AEW, though he would appear here and there. Well, he's always wanted to come back to WWE, and last night he was able to. Unfortunately, not as Matt Cardona, the persona he was doing on the indie scene, but back as Zack Ryder. I know WWE is super greedy and stuff, but I do understand why they did this. It would have been cool for Matt Cardona, but I get why they did Zack Ryder, because they got the merchandise, they got all this, the nostalgia, the this, the that. But they didn't necessarily hide the fact that he had reinvented himself. They were just calling him Zack Ryder while still continuing his Matt Cardona, like acknowledging his Matt Cardona time on the indie scene. So yeah, I hope Zack Ryder stays though. I do hope he stays. I think he has a lot to offer people, but we shall see. Fun fact, right now he's actually feuding with Karrion Kross on the indie scene right now. David LaCour says, still no pinfall win in a main event. You are absolutely right. Drew McIntyre versus Cody. Cody hits him with the belt. Cody versus Aleister Black. That's when Drew kicks the referee in the face, right? Yeah, I think so. Plus Damian Priest got involved. Tonight, Bronson Reed, Cody, the Vision interferes. Even John Cena, Cody versus Drew and Logan Paul, that was a DQ. So Cody has wrestled 4 times on SmackDown's main event since SummerSlam, and all 4 times have not ended in a pinfall. David LaCour also says they need to stop focusing on R-Truth's balls already. What's wrong with R-Truth's balls? Were they too big? R-Truth's balls were fine. He just wanted to get his balls in the tumbler with the other men's balls. Like, I don't see the problem with that. All right, then we go to Goat Buggy. I really hope to God that Jey Uso isn't the last one to fight John Cena, because if Jey is the most overused guy in 2025, I really hope he's not the last guy too. And I'm starting to worry, because what if they say, oh, long-term booking, it's a callback to Royal Rumble when they were the final two. So they're like the final two in the Royal Rumble, John Cena's first match of his retirement year, and then Jey Uso in his last match of the retirement year for John Cena. And I'm a Jey Uso fan, but no. Jey Uso would be like one of the last people I want fighting him. Like, give it to Obafemi. Freaking Obafemi. I already did a video on Obafemi just two or 3 days ago. Please go watch that. Obafemi should be the guy. Or Trick Williams. Or so many others. Not Jey Uso. In fact, it shouldn't be a former champion, period. Goat Buggy says, I guess LA Knight is not getting buried anymore because he won his match, and now I just wonder if every mystery opponent will lose in the John Cena tournament just because they are not WWE guys. Well, Joe Hendry did just sign with the WWE, so I thought Joe would be tonight. I thought Matt would actually be on Monday, because Matt Cardona is from New York or Long Island. But yeah, no. Plus LA Knight, like, don't celebrate just yet. Just because LA Knight won one match, there's other ways to get buried. You can literally win matches and still get buried in storylines and stuff. LA Knight just beat a guy that was a jobber from 10 years ago. I love Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, but like, you watch. This is false hope. This is false hope. This is them dangling the LA Knight push in our face. Don't forget, LA Knight pinned Seth freaking Rollins, and yet he was still somehow buried after that. Salvo Savage says WWE saw blood and guts and decided to lose their minds. I mean, to be fair, Blood and Guts is a WarGames like matchup in AEW, and AEW did it like a week ago or something. So to be fair, WarGames has been in the books for many years now at Survivor Series. So Tony Khan put it before WarGames, probably to actually maybe lessen the excitement for WWE's WarGames, which is perfectly fine. I mean, Tony Khan at this point should be playing dirty like that, because WWE started it. WWE is the one that tries to counter-program all their pay-per-views, so I'm okay with Tony Khan doing something like that to try to lessen the excitement on WWE's stuff as well. Like, you give what you get. STR Game Takes says, I know this isn't a SmackDown about SmackDown, but I missed the traditional Survivor Series match, and I thought it would be perfect year to bring it back. During these hot takes, you don't have to just talk about the episode of whatever just happened. You could do any WWE hot take in general. But yeah, I miss those matches too. I loved the random pairing of superstars, and they all had a name that kind of went with their team captain. They are doing a traditional Survivor Series matchup though, but it's actually the night before Survivor Series, and it's going to be Sammy, Ray Phoenix, the Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Solo Sikoa and his MFTs. Not sure why they didn't just put it on the card. Like, just have one Survivor Series match. That would be cool. But no, they had to do it the night before, and I'm not sure why they didn't have it the Wyatts. They've been teasing the Wyatts for months now, and they even had Uncle Howdy in the background of a Solo promo last night, so it feels like the Wyatts versus the MFTs were the way to go, not Sammy and a bunch of random people versus Solo. Brawl Mayhem says, I didn't expect Zack Ryder to appear, but I was expecting him to win. Honestly, I'm shocked that he didn't win. Like, I mean, he fought LA Knight. Why not just pin LA Knight? That seems to be the Triple H's favorite thing to do. Mario Major says, I love the fact that Charlotte isn't all in for WarGames right away, even though we know she's going to join in anyways. It makes sense regarding the history of Rhea, unlike Bayley and Io last year. Absolutely agree. Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair has gone to war twice at WrestleMania, the showcase of the Immortals. Those feuds should be a little more, I don't know, a little more bloodthirsty than others. You can't just forgive and forget a WrestleMania feud. Last year, they did that with Io and Bayley, who also had a WrestleMania feud going in, and suddenly they were just okay being teammates. Yeah, they kind of subtly alluded that they were okay with each other, but they never fully addressed it, and that was a plot hole. Like, I didn't mind those two on the same team, Bayley and Io, but it was a plot hole that they never said, okay, fine, let's put our differences aside. Just because you suddenly are both faces doesn't mean you don't remember all the nasty stuff you did to each other when you weren't both faces. And I liked that Charlotte Flair was like, I'm sorry, I can't. We have too much history. And Charlotte even acknowledged, you probably think I'm a snake. I think you're a snake. I just can't do this, and walked away. So, like, I do like that. I do like that. It took time to get over everything and become a friend of Alexa, so it would take time. It would realistically take time for her to put aside all differences with Rhea as well. And it rewards long-term fans because we remember both of her WrestleMania matches, so it's like, oh yeah, that does make sense that they wouldn't want to be on a team, or well, Charlotte wouldn't at least. Mr. Salesman says, if Charlotte can have a problem with Rhea, then Rhea should have a problem with Io since she's never beaten her. Different dynamic. I think Rhea and Io has always been about just matches. That said, people are just different. Some people can forget. Some people cannot. Maybe Rhea can, maybe Charlotte can't. But it is within Charlotte's nature, her character, to be a complete egomaniac. So, like, I could totally see why it would be Charlotte that says, no, I can't do this. While Rhea might say, but why not? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So, like, I can see this one, but I get what you're saying. Charles Yancey says, R-Truth is goated as one of the funniest. We had a conversation on the live chat, like, who is the Mount Rushmore of comedic characters? I said Santino Marella, R-Truth, Kurt Angle, actually. I think Kurt Angle is very low-key underrated as funny. And then it was a toss-up between The Rock, Chelsea Green, and some people said Goldust, but I actually liked Booker T. So those are my three that I'm like, ooh, who do I put on this comedic character? When it's all said and done, I could see it being Chelsea Green, but because she's still, like, in the present, well, I guess R-Truth is in the present, but R-Truth has, like, years and years of comedic stuff going on. I'm probably gonna put, screw it, I'll just put Chelsea Green on my Mount Rushmore as well, but I could, it might be too early. It might be recency bias for her, I will admit that, but screw it. My Mount Rushmore, Chelsea Green goes on it. Raphael at Air says, what happened to my SmackDown tag team division? No title defense or storyline? 2-hour SmackDown is really hurting the division. Well, you might be in luck if you want 3 hours, because it's coming. Not a fan of it, but I've heard that 3-hour SmackDowns are abound come January. So we'll see. But honestly, I don't think when they had 3 hours that they really did much. The SmackDown division, tag team division, I guess did benefit from that. But honestly, I think they could still do it with 2 hours. They just need to shave off time off of certain matches. It's like we don't need 20, 30-minute matches every single week, and then you do 2 of them. We just don't need that. You could take 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and put it towards the tag team division. Number 2, Ilya and Axiom was an awesome match, but I'm waiting for his match with Ciampa, which smells like a generational feud. I don't know what they're doing with Ilya and Ciampa. Why is Ilya ducking Ciampa? It's weird. Ilya is supposed to be this fighting champion, and he's ducking Ciampa. And then we got 3. LA Knight versus Zack Ryder is a match of the year contender. Triple H, for now, has silenced the burial of Knight allegations. He has not silenced them with me. I know what Triple H is doing. He likes to push, stop, push, stop. So I think we're still in the process of the LA Knight burial. Triple H just likes to dangle that carrot. Joshua Anohai, sorry, I butchered her name. Jade needs bigger names to establish her title run. She's basically fighting Julia's last opponent, B-Fab and Meacham. Oh, no disrespect to B-Fab or Meacham, but they've been presented as jobbers. So why is the champion really wasting their time on them? But I will say, I liked that Jade squashed B-Fab. I think Jade needs to have really short matches and powerful matches. I think we need to give Jade some more power moves, and she needs to have some intensity with them as well. But so far, so good, but we can only beat B-Fab and Meacham so many times before we must move on. MK says, trash. I liked it. I gave it a 6 out of 10, but I probably should have gave it a 7. I think I should have gave it a 7. It was a decent SmackDown. But yeah, I think they should have gave it a 7. But you know what? That's one take, one shot. You gotta do my raw, visceral reaction after the show. Mr. Gray says, in my opinion, Bronson Reed has elevated more than Braun Breaker. I know he's the bigger star than Bronson, but he's beaten Roman and had a match with the likes of Cody. And last year, it was Seth. He is getting bigger and bigger. Yes, agreed. Braun Breaker, I don't think the vision was good for him. Now, if they had allowed the Braun Breaker to spear Seth freaking Rollins and just take over, yes, I would have been like, cool, we're on the right path. But Braun Breaker seems to have taken a step back. Bronson Reed, on the other hand, definitely, this faction is helping him at this point. But then again, I don't think he needed it either. He was doing just fine on his own. But I will say, at this point, momentum has started to swing in his favor as the one who's getting the biggest rub. Braun Breaker's just like, what are we doing with him? We just keep saying he's the future, but we're not presenting him like the future. Jimbo Slice says, I'm so glad Charlotte walked out. I was about to throw up in my mouth with all the hugging. Yeah, I'm so happy that they called it back and that Charlotte, that she remembered that she hated Rhea Ripley. That is the kind of storytelling that I like. The devil is in the details. The best stories have the most consistent little details and threads woven throughout, so that was great stuff there. Go Buggy says, it was reported that SmackDown will go back to 3 hours again starting next year. I just want to know what you think about this, Chop. I hate it. And I know what people are going to say, well, it will give people more opportunities. I really don't think it will. I vividly remember having to sit through those really long, drawn-out SmackDowns, and I still didn't see Carmelo Hayes. I'm like, what? What are we doing? They just made the matches longer. The tag team division is the exception. I do believe the tag team division did thrive in 3 hours, but I honestly still think, like I said earlier, they could thrive in 2 hours if we just made some matches shorter. Go back to the Attitude Era. Go back to Ruthless Aggression. The tag teams divisions were super hot back then, and there were only 2-hour shows. It's all about pacing, and 3 hours just gives Triple H an excuse to make matches even longer, because that's what he did last time. I don't like 3-hour SmackDowns or Raw. Zach D says, if the last mystery opponent isn't Oba Femi, they should just do what they should have done for a while ago and push Carmelo Hayes to the moon. But it should be Oba. Yeah, honestly, right now, if they don't let Carmelo Hayes, I'd be fine with going all the way to the end and facing John Cena. But Oba Femi, Trick Williams, those are the play. I did a video. I said it earlier. Go check it out 2 or 3 days ago. Oba Femi is the guy that needs to beat John Cena. Million Matthews says there was no need for men's WarGames match. Cody and Punk should have just defended their titles instead. Absolutely 100% agree. No need for this. In fact, this this build has been so poor and unnecessary that they added Jimmy Uso last night to the WarGames by having an off-camera conversation with CM Punk on the phone. That's how you get into WarGames right now. Like the wrestlers just call each other when the cameras aren't rolling in. Hey, Jimmy, what are you doing? What are you doing on WarGames? You wanna join? Like, come on, that's so lame. Like, don't do WarGames if you don't have an actual proper bloodthirsty feud to do it. You made Hell in the Cell relevant by pulling back. Make WarGames relevant by pulling back and only using it when the feud calls for it. Jessica Nunzo says at this point, how things are going, they should just bring back Vince Russo. I can't believe that there's parts of me that agree with you. Like, I've, for the longest time, was like, Vince Russo, no way, no how. But now I'm like, well, at least it'd be interesting. Vince Russo, if you're interested, is actually writing now for the ICP promotion. And I think I'm going to start doing some watch-alongs on the Patreon channel. But if you just Google ICP wrestling promotion, Vince Russo, his first show, I think, aired last week or this week. So Vince Russo is back in the writing of wrestling game. And if you don't know who Vince Russo is, he's the dude that wrote some of the best stuff of the Attitude Era with Vince McMahon. Rick Taylor, John Cena couldn't resist. He had to bury Zack Ryder one more time. So he overruled Triple H's decision to have LA Knight lose the match. Yeah, you know how John Cena has been accused of burying people in the past. In fact, it was one of his heel promos that he said, I don't bury people. I don't bury talent, I am talent. Something like that. He said that earlier, and Zack Ryder is one of the talents that he has been historically claimed to have buried. They say that he was a little too afraid that Zack was getting over by himself, so like they had to squash it, because once Zack Ryder and John Cena became in a storyline together, suddenly Zack's getting pushed off the stage by Kane, and his girlfriend Eve Torres gets stolen by John Cena. So it's like, it's one of the few things that John Cena did as a babyface that you can't really justify. You're like, wait a second, what is John Cena doing here? Why is Zack Ryder like getting destroyed in this storyline? And John Cena didn't have to pin Zack to bury him. That storyline did not do Zack any favors. Then we got Roger Murray. CM Skunk is a fake champion. That is just a statement that I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you don't like CM Punk, fine, but he's not a fake champion. Like, I don't understand what you're saying here. If you don't like someone, I'll voice your opinion, even if I don't agree with it, but you gotta give me reasons. Why is he a fake champion? Tell me that. Alfonso Passion says the Sammy character needs a type of adjustment. It's just little too old and blah. Yeah, I really like Sammy as the U.S. champion, but he's kind of gone back to his I beat factions up Sami Zayn, and he does need a change. I think he does need a change. Even when he's giving his rah-rah speech of he gets so passionate and stuff, it just feels like the same promo, and he's just yelling in the same tone, and like we buy that he's just really passionate about the business. It's like, so, yeah, there needs to be a tweak with Sammy. Like his U.S. title stuff was good, but now he's just right back to where he started. And that's when I had a problem with Sammy. So the Sammy problem has rekindled, apparently. For me, at least. WTF Patch, I'm hardly interested in WarGames match because both babyface teams are obviously winning. Even if they lose, what's the point? Does it matter? Does it even matter who wins, who loses this stuff anymore? It's like, okay, whatever. There's no real stakes. There's no real stakes. It's just a way to do another PLE and not have your champions have to defend the belts so we can get them to WrestleMania with the titles. TTJC says, I love tonight, and it confirmed what I've been saying. WarGames is about CM Punk and Paul Heyman. The Vision and Logan Paul are just extensions of Paul because he can't wrestle. Yeah, I could see that. This is a longer comment, so I'll just leave it with this. Yeah, this is more of a Paul versus CM Punk thing. And that was their feud way back in the day. When Paul turned on Punk last time, eventually it was just, Paul just kept throwing guys at CM Punk until eventually it was Brock Lesnar. And I think this time around, it's probably going to be Brock Lesnar as well. I think Brock joins Brock joins as your 5th guy, that probably gets John Cena to join as well as the 5th guy. Hopefully John Cena gets to pin Brock Lesnar as payback for WrestlePalooza. Charles Yancey, Cena's got to get into WarGames, no question. So there you go. Yeah, I agree with you. At this point, let him go into WarGames. Gabe Brokenshire says, genuine question, how long are we going to watch Jay botch before we pull the plug? I don't think they're pulling the plug on Jey Uso. Yeah, he botched last night. At first I thought it was a move, but no, it was a botch. He had Miz on his shoulders, and then he was trying to do something. I don't know. At first I thought it was like in the script, it was just a weird, awkward new move, but when I watched it back, it looked like a botch. But Triple H is never not going to push Jey Uso, because if he did, he would have to admit that Jey Uso wasn't ready and that Triple H was wrong. So Triple H could never be wrong. Like, never. So he'll never not push Jey Uso. And as you also say something about the entrance is over, not Jey Uso. Jey Uso's over, but you're right about the entrance being over, and people will always call back to say, like, oh my gosh, look at Jay, he's so popular. No. People just like to do things. They like to chant. Cody Rhodes, Cody, Cody Rhodes, Cody. Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, Roman. Dirty Dom, you know, they just like to do their chants. They love this. Whoa. Oh, Seth Rollins was the biggest heel in the company, and they still chanted for him. So, they like to say, oh, look at the yeet. Jey Uso, I don't think he's as popular as the yeets signify, but the dude is still popular. At the same time, Triple H will never not push him, because Triple H has anointed him, and Triple H cannot be wrong. Daniel Kinser says, out of my 30 years of watching wrestling, this one is one of the most confusing times. Literally everyone in this tournament is over 40. Not everyone, but yes, if you look at the winners of the John Cena tournament, it's definitely people up there. Rusev is one of the youngest winners right now at, I think 39, and he wrestled John Cena, 10 WrestleManias ago. Sheamus, he won his first world championship from John Cena. What win was that? 2012? 2009? I can't even remember, but not 2009, but 2012 or something like that. So it's like, I thought this was for pushing younger talent to see who's going to step up for ruthless aggression, like a young John Cena did to a veteran Kurt Angle, but yet we're just stating veteran after veteran to step up against John Cena. Like, let's throw some new blood in there. FMJ says, it's kind of funny how they set up the bracket to let the current buried guy who got over on his own, LA Knight, face the previous buried guy who got over on his own, Zack Ryder. Yeah. Coincidence. Numba says, I don't get the outrage with Jay beating Miz. It's not like the Miz and Jay are going to be the final opponents. Okay, well, if that's the case, then you could make the same argument. Well, what's the outrage of Miz beating Jay? It's not like they're going to be the final opponents. The outrage is this. If we're gonna have John Cena have all of his former foes advancing, why not the Miz? Jey Uso's not a former foe, and the Miz, he's always been fighting for respect. He's literally, since day one, been fighting for respect of the locker room, of the fans, of everything. And it just seems like even though the Miz is seemingly getting more and more fan support as for the entirety of his career, the respect that he deserves, he's still not there. And he's losing clean. He's losing clean in the first round of the John Cena tournament when he has fought John Cena at a WrestleMania main event before. It's like, I don't know. Why? Why not have Carmelo Hayes interfere at least? Why not have Carmelo Hayes interfere and cost Miz the match? At least then the Miz can get a feud out of it. So I think it's just a respect thing. Why not let the Miz advance? Why not? He's not going to make it to the Final Four anyways. So that's the thing. It's more of just, I don't even think it's more of a, oh God, Jey Uso one. I think it's more of a, just more disrespect to the Miz. The dude's a legend, and we should treat him as such. All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are your SmackDown hot takes for, well, yesterday's SmackDown. See ya. Bye. Have a good day.